So the question is, at what stage in the business did I decide I needed to hire someone? My business reached a point, I'll try to talk in pictures, where my hands were too small to carry everything. So what was happening is I was doing launches, I was doing programs, and I was dealing with a lot of communication with other contractors, and then other speaking engagements started coming in, and I didn't have the time to take care of all that. Travel for me was a really big pain point. I had to book the flights, book the hotels, where am I going to stay, all of these things, negotiate with the people. So the first person I actually hired was someone who is in a role like Chelsea was, and all she did in the beginning was book flights. That's what the pain point was for me, and that gave me hours back in my time. Now, at that point, I was full-time in the business, and I'll never forget something a friend of mine told me, and she is how I found Chelsea, and we don't work with that organization now because we're been together for 4 years now. God, wow, it's a long time. Sorry. But she said to me, our mutual friend said to me, Travinia, she said to me, Mike, at this point in your business, if you don't have an executive assistant, you are one. I was like, oh, well, thank you. That hurt. And you're managing your calendar. Your people are paying you X amount of money per hour, like kind of Paul talks about. And I realized I was spending hours doing $10 to $15 to $25 an hour tasks. And I'm not saying Chelsea's worth that little, but that was at that point for me, I had to reclaim those hours. So I started there. Then the second virtual assistant I hired was someone to run my Facebook ads. So we can talk to Nick a little bit about that because I didn't want to learn it. I had no idea. I had no time to learn all this stuff. So that was the second person I hired. And the third was I had always had a designer on hand. So there were things that I didn't want to learn. But I just couldn't handle it anymore.
Okay, so your other question was, what do you need to communicate to be able to find your perfect virtual assistant? So there's a few things, and then I like to stick to a few. So that is first your value fit. You need to make sure that this person is a good match, like with your values, like of yourself personally, and then also your company. That's really important because if that's not there, it's just not going to be a good fit. It's just not going to work overall. The second thing you want to make sure is a good fit is a cultural fit. So you want to make sure that they align very well with your passion and the purpose of your company. If you run an outdoor company and they hate the outdoors, this is not going to work. It just won't, because they don't have that draw. They don't care. They're not in it for the long haul. They're in it for the dollars. So you really want to make sure it's a good passion and cultural fit as well. And the third piece is, this is actually the third, it's not the first, is that you want to make sure it's a good fit for their skills and their responsibilities perfectly match up with what the job description needs. And you would initially think that, oh no, that needs to be the first thing that's perfect with this person, but it's not. You can teach someone how to do ConvertKit, but you can't teach someone to love something that you love. So your skills and responsibilities, that's the third piece that you want to make sure is a really good fit.